I don't care who, he, she, it, they, them, her, that is. Fire took out a Navy ship. The survivability of this vessel is less than that of a Swamp People fisher boat. A trash fire destroyed this ship and passports survived. Crash planes, fires, and several fallen buildings. BS. What am I referring to? Sailor accused of starting USS Bonhhome Richard Fire, identified and warrant. Seaman Apprentice Ryan Sawyer Mays told investigators he was set up according to an affidavit. And I'm actually believing that. I'm actually believing that because freaking the F-35 has been a complete waste of fucking money. F-22 as well. There's a vessel that's out there that is that it can't. It's basically worthless. Like they've spent billions on these. I'll find it in a second. Sorry, but federal source for an affidavit unsealed this week has identified the sailor suspected of starting the 2020 fire abroad. The amphibious soul ship Bonhhome Richard as Seaman Apprentice Ryan Sawyer Mays is SEAL training washout, who some shipmates say hates the Navy. I hated the fucking Army. I still freaking appreciate my, I was a fucking private downrange. It sucked. But I'm certain things would have gotten better. Narf. The affidavit by the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, CIS, agent Maya Kamat was filed September 3rd to compel Google to grant access to May's Gmail account. The Navy on July 29th announced arson and harboring of vessel charges against the sailor. The Navy on July 29th announced arson and hazarding of vessel charges against a sailor for starting the multi-day fire that began on July 12, 2020 as the ship was undergoing maintenance in San Diego. While the Navy declined to identify the sailor ahead of the Article 32 hearing that will help determine whether the case goes to trial, a motion filed Tuesday by the government prosecutors asking to unseal the affidavit involving Mays states that a sailor was arrested and charged in connection to the investigation that the affidavit. Hold on a second. The affidavit, for the first time, reveals information about the sailor accused of starting the fire and suggests that key firefighting stations may have been tampered with, hindering efforts to extinguish the inferno. So, this guy was able to get along. Where was the inspections? This guy was able to freaking tamper with, and this is very methodical, to tamper with fire suppression devices, the fire suppression system, extinguishing system, hindering efforts to extinguish the inferno, which burned for 4 days and left dozens of military and civilian firefighters injured, according to the affidavit. This document also reveals investigators found plastic bottles containing fuel near the fire's origin site. Mays 20 told investigators he did not start the fire and was being set up, according to the affidavit. And a Kentucky native, Mays could not be reached for comment and began a new assignment with Amphibious Squadron 5 in April. According to a service record, officials did not immediately clarify Mays' current duty status. His civilian attorney, Gary Barthol, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Seaman Kenji Velasco reported that he was standing watch near the ramp down the lower V storage area of the ship at about 8 a.m., July 12, 2020, when he saw a sailor wearing coveralls and a mask carry a bucket down into the lower V, lower 5, about 5 minutes later before the first reports of smoke emerged, according to the affidavit. Velasco said he was fairly certain, 90% sure, that it was Mays. The affidavit states, "I love deck," the sailor sarcastically stated, while passing Velasco a phrase the sailor knew Mays to say, according to the affidavit. Velasco told investigators that May hates the U.S. Navy and the fleet, according to the affidavit. Alright, so he maintained his innocence. at one point, after being told that he happened to having descended the ramp to a lower V before the fire base, that he was being set up. About 6 days after the fire began, investigators determined that it originated in the lower V. Any sailors coming back up the ramp, lower V, after sailor Velasco, believed to be Mays, went down there. While Mays actually told investigators anyone at lower V during the fire would be fucked because the only way back up to the lower V was the ramp. He eventually admitted knowing about other exit point. I mean, that's part of freaking training on ships, huh? Mays admitted that he had traversed at least one of the two configuration station ladders where he learned to skate off and hide from work. The affidavit states, Mays joined the Navy in 2019, started Bud's training to become a SEAL in October 2019, but dropped out after 5 days, according to the affidavit, which is a freaking SEAL training is hard. I mean, the guy was young, he tried. He was reassigned to, according to Navy leadership, the morale and behavior of sailors who had aspired to become a SEAL, and then find themselves serving a more traditional role in Navy ship are frequently very challenging. So this does seem like a nice little setup. U.S. Navy's next-gen naval warfighting is a multi-billion-dollar failure. Inexpensive littoral combat ship, littoral, whatever the fuck, marks one of the greatest failures in American U.S. military spending in the last 2 decades, far eclipsing the costly F-35 stealth fighter, which still works as intended. Initially, the Navy budget estimated that each ship would only cost $220 million per unit. Today, the ship costs $600 million to produce, but even that pales next to its annual $70 million operating cost. To put it into perspective, the lightly armed 3,400 metric ton surface combatant costs nearly as much to operate as a heavily armed 9,400 metric ton destroyer. And the way they measure, the tons and stuff is through the water displacement. Featuring a novel catamaran design intended to lift out of water and let it navigate in shallow waters, the combat ship was supposed to usher in a revolution in military affairs. As China and other nations of the world invested in anti-area access denial, the United States found that its considerable Navy forces were being shuttered out of being able to establish beachheads by the strategy. Let's see. What was the was a Wasp-class amphibious assault ship of the United States Navy commissioned on 15 August 1998. In 1998, it cost $750 million, adjusted to $2020, $1.2. The Navy had, look at that, man. I mean, fucking inflation. And then, so, I'm telling you, like, a fucking fire, seriously, just one fire destroyed a fucking ship. This is like freaking 9/11, I'm telling you. Like, there's something fucking up with this thing. It smells, it stinks. I don't like it.